Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. I once read a book entitled Pwagu na Pwaguzi, simply translated brain encounter brains. This is exactly what we witnessed a few hours ago at the Senate. Rigathi Gachagua had once said that he was not ready to resign and that he was ready to fight for his political survival to the end. And it seems there are very many ways of killing a rat. And this time round, he launched a plan for that survival. We all know that Rigathi Gachagua was being waited for to arrive at the Senate. He did not, and this seemed to be a choreographed plan because when the Senate was very eager to see the man that they wanted to ask questions, and I remember Orengo was saying, I am ready, I was very eager to cross-examine the deputy president. Lawyer Paul Mwite, who is the lead counsel in the Rigathi camp, said that he was going to find out, only to come back and tell us that he realized or he found out that Rigathi had been taken ill and he had gone to the hospital. That threw the Senate into a constitutional crisis because it forced the Speaker of the Senate to adjourn so that Rigathi would come back maybe by 5. He was given some few hours. When Paul Witte came back, he reported to the Senate that Rigathi could not make it and therefore he was requesting for adjournment. The Speaker of the National Assembly, if you ask me, produced a Solomonic wisdom, one that has only been seen during Kenneth Otiato Marende at the National Assembly, when there was a tug of war between Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Amolo Odinga as to who was the leader of the I don't know, government business or something. So the speaker took 5 minutes to look into the request from both sides, from both the Rigathi camp and the National Assembly camp. And when he came back, he said, this is a matter that I cannot rule on unilaterally. I throw it back to the Senate.
As this process is time-bound by the Constitution to be concluded in not more than 10 days, pursuant to Article 145 as read together with Article 150 of the Constitution, and noting that the period provided for ends on Saturday, the 19th of October 2024, the only window open to the Senate, if it so oblige the request for adjournment sought by counsel for the Deputy President, will be to gazette Saturday, the 19th of October 2024 as a further and final day for hearing of this matter. Now, honorable senators, ladies and gentlemen, such a request is not made to the Speaker, but to the Senate, and is accordingly a matter for the Senate to determine. To facilitate this decision, I direct the clerk of the Senate to circulate a supplementary order paper incorporating a notice of motion and a motion for adjournment sought. This being a procedural matter, the motion, if carried, will result in the Speaker gazetting Saturday, the 19th of October 2024 as a sitting day to conclude the hearing and determination of this matter, this being the last day allowed by the Constitution of Kenya for these proceedings to conclude. Needless to say, if the motion is not carried, the decision of the Senate will be that this hearing continues to conclusion in the manner provided for under Rule 12. In such event, the hearing will continue as set out in the program, with the parties moving to make their closing statements. Now, honorable senators, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, let me take this opportunity on my own behalf and on behalf of the Senate to convey our sincere sympathies and best wishes for a quick recovery to His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, AGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya.
With that, he exonerated himself from the blame game that, you have taken sides, the way Speaker of the National Assembly was being accused of taking sides together with Gladys Bosch-Sholei. So the Senate was forced to move this motion afresh. The majority leader and the minority leader moved this motion And even though they had reservations, they had requested the Senate to support this, to adjourn Parliament till Tuesday, when Rigathi was expected back.
Mr. Speaker, this is a self-explanatory procedural motion that, in light of the request of counsel for the Deputy President, this House adjourns until the closest time possible without violation of the Constitution within which we can sit and conclude on this matter. As I move this motion, though, Mr. Speaker, I must note that the request that came from counsel for the Deputy President, Senior Counsel Paul Mwite, is that we actually sit on Tuesday. I am sure he knows very well the 10-day provision, but I don't know why he wants this House to violate the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, or at least send us into a constitutional crisis. Be that as it may, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge my colleagues that let us sit on that Saturday, despite the fact that I know there are quite a number of Adventists, but duty calls, Mr. Speaker. And this is an important exercise that has the breadth of the country holding still while watching what is happening in the Senate of the Republic of Kenya.
Mheshimiwa Spika, kwanza nataka kuunga mkono hoja hii ya kwamba tuweze pia kupata nafasi ya kuweza kuketi ama kusikiza maoni haya siku ya Jumamosi, kuanzia leo mpaka Jumamosi, kupewa nafasi hiyo. Bwana Spika, tunaelewa ya kwamba hii ni kesi muhimu sana, na macho yote katika nchi hivi sasa yanaegezwa katika bunge la Senate. Nataka kumpatia pole sana kupitia kwa wakili ambaye ni senior counsel wetu na ni wakili mkubwa katika Kenya, ndugu yangu Paul Mwite, kwamba yule client wako amekuwa mgonjwa wakati huu. Najua ni ugonjwa ni kitu cha Mwenyezi Mungu. Hatuwezi sisi tukasema ya kwamba mtu hawezi kuwa mgonjwa. Mtu yote anaweza kuwa mgonjwa. Kwa hiyo nataka umpatie pole, Senate imempatia pole, na kwamba tunamtakia kila laheri aweze Mwenyezi Mungu kumpatia nafuu, alafu tuweze kumpata hapa. Bwana Spika, tuko katika panda mbili hivi sasa. Ni mgonjwa na tuendelee, ama ni mgonjwa na tusiendelee. Tumpatie nafasi. Kama binadamu naweza kusema kwamba ni nafasi nzuri tuonyeshe binadamu kama maseneta ama nyumba ya Senate, kwamba tumpatie nafasi ya yeye akiwa yuko hospitali aweze kuweza kupata nafuu katika matibabu yake. Bwana Spika, mswada huu umekuja wakati mzuri, na kwamba tunaweza kumpatia hiyo nafasi. Naunga mkono hoja hii. Asante sana Bwana Spika.
After moving that motion, the senators had to deliberate on it and look into whether they had to adjourn till Tuesday or to proceed in the absence of Rigathi Gachagua, because this motion is time-bound. This was the last day according to the Constitution. And so after deliberations, they voted, and I think the nays, those who wanted this motion to proceed without, in the absence of the Deputy President, had their way. And it was ruled that they proceed without, or in the absence of the Deputy President.
Further noting that the Counsel for His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, sought an adjournment of the Senate until Tuesday, the 22nd of October 2024 at 9 a.m. to allow His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, to appear and give evidence, if any, on the grounds for his proposed removal from office by impeachment. Further, noting that pursuant to Article 145(4) of the Constitution, a proposed impeachment hearing for the removal from office of the Deputy President must be concluded within 10 days from the date of the hearing of reading of the charges, which period in this case expires on Saturday, the 19th of October 2024. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves, 1, to adjourn the afternoon sitting of Thursday, 17th of October 2024, and pursuant to Standing Order 34-4C of the Senate Standing Orders, to hold sittings on Saturday, the 19th of October 2024, commencing at 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. until conclusion of business in the order paper of the day, in order to conclude the hearing and determination of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The nays have it.
After that ruling, the lead counsel in the Rigathi camp said that they agree with the Senate because the Senate has got the prerogative of deciding on matters such as that. But he said that they could not proceed in the absence of their client because they felt there was no way they were going to proceed, and the person who is being discussed is not there. And they requested very respectfully to go. They actually stormed out very politely, and they said they could not continue, and those who are supporting Rigathi also left.
Through you, let me recognize the right of this Honorable Senate to decide any issue, any question put to it democratically, which, Mr. Speaker, is what has happened. Arising from that decision of this Honorable Senate, Mr. Speaker, we as the legal team representing the Deputy President are not able to continue appearing without instructions. So we humbly and with a lot of respect take your leave, Mr. Speaker, and the leave of this Honorable House. Thank you.
Now, I told you brain encounter brains. Pwagu na pwaguzi. What is happening here, ladies and gentlemen? Kindly subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell. Please give this video likes. It helps our videos. You can also help us share our videos. Thank you very much for those who support this channel in one way or the other. The legal team had advised Rigathi Gachagua, if you ask me, that there is a timeline, and they wanted to ensure that they in the absence of Rigathi Gachagua, they would buy time until the elapse of the time according to the Constitution, and they will move to court and say, you cannot impeach the president because it will be against the Constitution. That's why he's in hospital, and they will prove that if we are dealing with a constitutional matter, then we have to respect the Constitution. I have a feeling. I have also opined that Rigathi is human. Maybe he was scared. You've heard of stroke and people who just collapse because of high blood pressure. This could also be a reason. You cannot rule it out. This is how people have joked around with situations, and before you know it, you get news that someone has collapsed, or someone just tells you where you live that I feel overwhelmed and I can even take my life, and then the following day the person has committed suicide. Then you hear people saying they confess, oh, he posted on Twitter, oh, he posted on Facebook, oh, he told me he was going through a lot, now he's dead, and you feel guilty. So we cannot take it for granted that the Deputy President is sick, because he's really facing tough times. Ladies and gentlemen, in your own opinion, do you believe Rigathi Gachagua is sick? Like I said, you're not a doctor to determine. But Orengo was saying that Rigathi Gachagua is an opportunist who realized there's a window of a constitution or a legal window that he wanted to exploit. And that is exactly what they have exploited. Dennis Itumbi took to his Twitter handle and was saying that the Hustler Bureau of Investigation, the way he calls himself, that the Hustler Bureau of Investigation is saying that these people wanted to play games, that there was even a plan that Deputy President collapses during cross-examination, he's rushed to the hospital, and then they buy time, then they move to court. Whichever way, those are allegations. whichever way you think that maybe Rigathi is an opportunist, what we have on the ground is Rigathi is sick, and the votes and the discussion went on. This battle is headed directly to the Supreme Court, and you saw Madam Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu say that they are ready, and if it reaches their desk, they will deal with it like any other any other complaint, and they will be guided by the Constitution. And if you ask me, it is headed directly to the Supreme Court, and we are going to witness another legal battle. Legal minds are going to meet there. In the end, even if Rigathi Gachagua is going to lose, he wants to lose knowing very well that I put a spirited fight, I fought my battle well. Very many people had seen the way Mutuse was goofing, and they feel that Rigathi would have, just presented himself for cross-examination, he would have won this battle. But you never know. Maybe they know the weight, because in an impeachment motion like that, only one charge, they will be voting on each and every count. It is not like that one of the National Assembly where they vote in general. This one, in each and every count, they will be voting. The funniest part of it is that if they find him culpable even on one account, then he goes home. And I think because I had senators talking so much about the shares, the statements about the government being a shareholder, that is the one that looks to be very serious, and maybe they knew it was going to be a little bit difficult for him. I don't know. We wait and see. If Rigathi Gachagua is sick and is really sick, we wish him quick recovery. I don't know what to think, but that's my take.